So Fresh Sends, we are a direct consumer gifting brand. We ship flowers and gifts nationwide in the US. And it's been such a wild ride the last 5 years. We launched the brand 5 years ago. We are husband and wife. And I got started in the wedding and floral industry, but really it was evolved from how sending flowers and gifts is either a ton of work that someone has to like research and find a local florist in a city that they're sending to, or you have to choose one of the more archaic or geriatric incumbents that are in our space. And so we decided that sending flowers really should feel full of personality and meaning, but also be really straightforward and simple. So we launched Fresh Sends 5 years ago, and I guess I've never looked back. Jumped head in, and we moved out of our house that we were renting in Denver. It was a 900 square foot duplex, and now we've grown the brand, and it's been so fun to connect people through our product over these years.
Yeah, so you've got some of the incumbents like 1-800-Flowers, FTD, kind of the first wave of being able to send flowers online. And then you've got what we call kind of a facelift on that, i.e. Farm Girl Flowers, the Boops Co. And, back to why we started the company, we really think a lot of those even more modern quote unquote competitors are kind of just a slight facelift on 1-800. And really, we believe people don't care to scroll 20 pages of corny name bouquets. And really, the sentiment of sending flowers should be the focus. And so, our whole onus is making sure it's kind of the trust your florist mentality of we only provide and supply what is fresh and in season and pass those savings on to customers and trying to make it an easy, seamless process.
Yeah, we really focus on the entire gifting experience because sending 98% of our product is gifted. So we really hope that once a recipient receives our package, that every single moment and detail of the unboxing experience to the actual product to the gift, the note card that's included really wows them and lets them know that there was a lot of meaning and intention behind the gift. We do have other gifts. So we have a gift set. It's a candle, hand cream, and perfume. And then we also include other gifts with the flowers. So we right now you can ship what we call the birthday send. So it's cookies, 4 cookies from a bakery out of New York. So 4 fresh cookies included with your birthday send. We also have a pasta night set. So it's pasta with Graza olive oil and a cute little wooden spoon. And then we also have candy and what else? Of course, like some other items that you can include that round out your gift.
True, yeah, that's been years in the making of trying to nail that formula down. But yeah, we have 50, 2 weeks
Yep.
a year, so 52 inventory turns for the most part for 95% of our
Yeah.
orders.
It's taken a lot of trial and error. Our team is amazing, though. We have so many great who do things way better than we could possibly ever do them. And we have become much more granular with our forecasting. So trying to understand buyer behavior and then, of course, doing our buying. We do our buying about 2 to 3 weeks in advance. So we can look out in the calendar and forecast out being like, ooh, Valentine's Day. Of course, we do months and months of planning ahead of time, but we can be like, oh, the holiday season, Christmas is coming around. We know that there will likely be X amount of orders.
We've started to
Exactly.
realize that, yeah, there's like we notice like Black Friday for us is not a big holiday where most e-com companies, that's their Super Bowl. And I guess maybe luckily that's not ours.
Yeah.
We're not crunch time during those seasons. So we've kind of figured out like those seasonality dips that are kind of unique to fresh sends. So
Our Super Bowl rolls around more closely with the actual Super Bowl of Valentine's Day, and then Mother's Day is our actual biggest season of the year.
yeah, I was in commercial real estate financing with a company called HFF, and so we place debt and equity in large developments all around Denver and the Midwest.
And then I was doing weddings and events. So I started a wedding and event floral design business right out of college. And yeah, we were pretty young. Feels like we were fresh college students almost of jumping into this business.
Yeah,
So we always joke that we have very little corporate experience. At least
yeah.
I do. I'm like, I don't know. I've never worked in a real corporate business. I was actually just telling someone at coffee this morning. She was asking that same question. My answer is always 97% of the time it's the best thing in the world. And the other 3%, you're like, why do we choose to make our life so hard? Of like managing all of these different challenges, not only in our life, but also at work. So it's so funny.
Yeah.
I always say if it works for for some couples, it really works, and for other couples, it just doesn't work. And if it works for you, which it works for us, it's amazing.
Yeah. I would say the hardest thing is not like obviously being married, you're super comfortable with each other. And so if there's ever an instance at work where you're frustrated, it's easy to resort to husband and wife mode and
Yeah.
not professionals working together mode. And so
Yeah,
in front of employees, in front of whoever it may be, it's hard to sometimes rein that in and not just go at each other
Ty,
like, yeah, husband and wife
could you let that
bickering.
happen?
Having persistence and grit and sticking through the tough times. It's so easy to hyper focus on something and be like, oh, this is the end of the road, rather than trying to see the big picture and staying true to your mission, and really just the compounding of consistency and showing up every day really goes a long way. So that's something in the beginning that you have dreams, you listen to How I Made This or whatever it may be. You're like, oh, this is going to be easy and great. I can go do this. And then you jump into it and you're like, oh, crap, this is like a lot slower process than I thought. And so just that persistence and the compounding of consistency are kind of my always big piece of advice to, if I could give my earlier self, to really kind of focus on that.
Yeah. Mine's going to be kind of the same tune. I like endurance. I think you always set out to be, I don't know if it's like early, naive, either entrepreneur or just being young. You expect that life is going to have this sprint pace and everything's going to happen. And a lot of starting a business can feel that way. There's like some seasons where you're sprinting, but I think visualizing and getting the mindset around that this is really a marathon, that starting, running, developing, building a business is a marathon, not a sprint. And so much of life is a marathon. So there will be seasons where finding the right stride feels more challenging, and other seasons where it really comes easily. And so having that endurance and that grit and consistency to just keep trudging forward, making incremental progress forward, figuring out how to either rein that in operationally, or figure out how we wanted to pivot so that we were able to take on more demand. Our product is fairly labor intensive because each one is hand designed, and we don't have it's not necessarily just t-shirts on a shelf that we're packaging up and getting out, and all we have to do is order more. So I think pivoting and being nimble enough, and I guess like having enough grace for yourself to look past the challenge that you're seeing in that exact moment, and just knowing that even the mistakes and adversity you run into is ultimately going to make you a stronger person, and ultimately the company a stronger business.
Yeah. And for me, I would say the biggest pivot was around raising money, venture capital,
Mm,
really what we wanted the future of this business to be. I think a lot of people, myself included, get wrapped up in the idea of let's pump this thing full of venture capital money and try to take this to the moon immediately.
Mm.
And I don't know if it was my naivety or just, the fundamentals of what a VC type business is. And, really pivoting to be like, maybe that's not the play, and turning this more into a lifestyle business.
Right.
I think has been pivotal for us, just in really kind of opening our eyes to be like, hey, this is something we can do for a long time and really enjoy what we do. It makes a huge impact on people, meeting them in their highs and lows, and
mm.
um,
Focusing on profitable, sustainable.
focusing on the profitability of the business rather than just growing for growth's sake.
Right.
We raised some money early on and kind of have since then kind of shifted our focus on really what we want this business to be, and growing profitably, efficiently, and really just focusing on core healthy business metrics. So we get, and this is kind of how the floral industry across the board, everything comes in fairly raw directly from the farm. So there's a lot of processing, getting things kind of prettied up, ready to go. But yeah, everything comes into one central facility and then shipped back out via air
Mm.
directly to people's door.
We ship everything. So everything is designed, packaged, and shipped the day before the recipient receives it. If everything goes well with shipping, which 98% of the time it does. Um, but yeah, it's a fairly quick process, and we really focus on freshness to make sure that we're shipping the highest quality product we possibly can. We wish we could be more omni-channel. The complexities that come with our product being perishable, and never say never, we really hope that we could maybe have some type of presence that is outside of our D2C site. But 99% of our sales are coming through freshsense.com. And that makes it the simplest for us, obviously, to our product is also delivery date specific because these are for occasions. So we have to filter through all of our orders and take a look at delivery date to make sure that these are being shipped out on the correct date so that recipients receive them.
Yeah. Attributes like delivery date, custom note make it hard to do omni-channel.
Right.
We do have some plug and play with like other gifting companies that do like corporate gifting, like a goodie, for example. But predominantly, we like to funnel things mostly to us just to try to fully own
We're very controlling.
that whole experience from when somebody's going to get it. Because, you know, like with that date being specific, if somebody orders this for their mom's birthday and it shows up a day late, then we get constant email saying we ruined someone's mom's birthday, even though was it us? Was it FedEx?
Yeah.
Trying to make those sorts of things line up can be difficult omni-channel wise.
Which I'll just call out carefully. Most of our customers are so nice and gracious. There can, of course, just be some disappointing experiences when something goes wrong with shipping. So our customers are great. Yeah, it's not that much. Like we have pretty low waste when it comes to our product. So that's something that we're really fortunate
Say
with.
it's less than 5%.
Yeah,
It kind of goes back to the whole business model of not really allowing people to pick. We don't
yeah.
carry 40 different SKUs of different bouquets, and so it's more of like I said, the trusted florist. We like to be able to use everything we buy,
Yeah.
and so I think that also leads into low inventory waste.
Yeah, we almost never do discounts. We're nimble enough where we're able to modify if we're like this one specific product isn't selling as quickly as we expected. We're able to add that product into our other, like imagine like calla lilies or lilies just in general. We're able to add that in to our most popular product, which we call the send. So we never guarantee exact color palettes or stem varieties, but we always guarantee fresh, beautiful flowers. So we're really able to flex with how our current demand is and make sure that we don't have a lot of leftover product that gets thrown away. Well, I mean, we love Finaloop.
Yeah, so obviously
It's
Finaloop.
yeah, been hugely helpful for our brand, especially the switch from QuickBooks to Finaloop, just the more real-time, accurate, a clean snapshot of where the business is at that moment in time.
We use built-in Shopify, Excel. You know, we don't
Yeah.
really have a robust inventory management tool just because even in their nature of flowers, if we order X amount, there's guaranteed to be some that arrives bad to us anyways. And so trying to manage everything down to a stem on something so fragile is very difficult.
Yeah.
And so we take a larger kind of blended approach of, hey, we know we can at least get this amount of orders. Let's order this much to make sure we can fulfill that in the following weeks. But for finance tools, Finaloop, Excel, obviously deep Excel modeling, kind of just the bare bones basics. And someone I really admire and respect says that you should and could be running multi-million-dollar businesses just off Excel sheets and some of these like QuickBooks Finaloop type softwares that make it so easy to like auto plug in inventory stuff and or auto batching accounting.
And then we have some great like consultants and advisors to our fractional CFO. So people who are able to have some, I guess, like larger line of sight for how the financial picture of the company is too, with some modeling. And we always want to do more of it. I was actually just having a conversation about that yesterday. So we do something called Tell Freshie. We have a little mascot. It's our little bouquet friend. We call her Freshie. We do customer community calls. We do them once a month and I actually want to do them weekly just to hear about whether they've purchased from us in the past or they're just a brand friend, asking them about what they love about the brand, what they wish that they would see more of, why have they used Fresh Sends in the past, or why would they think to use a Fresh Send? So really hearing about like these actual real life stories behind people. We also get this really incredible glimpse into people's lives through these notes that they write. So we're able to see on, so they select a card and then they write a message. So we're able to see these moments in time that they're either able to celebrate or console or just let people know that they're not alone. So we get these really amazing glimpses kind of into more of the intimate moments of people's lives. And yeah, we of course do like post purchase surveys and surveys to our customers, just hearing about how we can continue to innovate and bring products that would create value in their life.
Yeah, and then we also have an in-house customer service team
Yeah.
that is very on top of it, whether it's the, as you know, DMs nowadays, just on various social medias, people act like that's an email channel now
Yeah.
and expect to be responded to. So staying on top of all those inboxes as well as email, we thought it was very important to keep customer service in-house and not outsource it, as so many companies do today. So I would say we've had a great response from that, and people love the quickness, being treated right,
Yeah.
quickly. So really trying to go above and beyond. We oftentimes will reship to try to make up for things that people think are unfair, even if it costs us a buck. So
Yeah, we have about 20 team members, of course.
full timers, and then seasonality, we go up to close to 40 during those big holidays.
Yep. We have a fair amount of team members who, of course, are out on the design floor and executing the actual building of our product and all of that execution. And then we have about 7 team members who are either managing partnerships for us or doing a lot of design work and customer experience, our back end ops, and then of course, flower buying, management of the floor team, and all of those different types of roles. It's crazy how it can grow year over
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I think it's just further scaling. Like we kind of explained about like other giftable items. We really feel like we building on the brand success, not only just be another ecom floral company, but rather this gifting marketplace, kind of challenging and competing with the broader 1-800 umbrella of brands, but doing it all in-house under one brand. And so that combined with scale and distribution is going to be a big key here. Obviously, shipping a perishable good is super expensive. So trying to cut down on those costs is a huge bullseye we're going after.
Yeah, definitely. We've been really encouraged about how some of these products, specifically like the birthday send, or right now, because it's the holiday season, we have a product called the Santa send. So we're able to change out our packaging that feels very unique to whatever the occasion is that you're sending for. So we plan on expanding there and having more giftable options specific for occasions. So whether that's someone who loves coffee or someone who just had a baby, we want to have specific offerings that feel unique and new to those events.
We work with one of the larger wholesaler networks in the country, and so we're in chats with them on trying to figure out how we could potentially maybe use some of their existing network to not have to build out our own floral reefer logistical network throughout the country. And so trying to maybe strategically open some spaces near them and piggyback off of what they've done. It would be the D2C arm of that. So
Yeah, but certainly I think they have 22 locations
yeah.
across the US, but our goal, of course, our 2 biggest shipping states or cities are New York and California, LA. So having coastal distribution centers is certainly a goal in the next 1 to 2 years.
In my mind, I would say if you're buying like a hoodie, sweatshirt, clothes, I do think more and more omni-channel is the way you see things going. I feel like Fresh Sins is somewhat uniquely positioned where rarely are you buying this for yourself. And so I do think we've kind of carved out a unique niche in the fact that I don't necessarily think our trajectory is on the same parallel bar as the rest of
E-commerce.
e-commerce. Because I do think more in person, it does seem to look that way, that things are swinging back toward more omni-channel in-person retail. People want to see, touch, feel, smell.
Right.
And so I do think overall e-commerce is moving that way, where you do need omni-channel presence or you're going to be left in the dust. But for Fresh Sins uniquely, the way we operate, I do think people are on their phones more than ever, as everyone knows. And so being able to order and send someone a bouquet of flowers quickly without trying to find a local florist in their city, I do think fits us well. So
Yeah,
if you have any
e-commerce.
thoughts.
Yeah, e-commerce is so interesting. I mean, it's so easy these days in theory. It's easier than ever to start an e-commerce store. and come up with a product. Of course, it's because it's so saturated, it also can be hard to gain that foothold in the market that you want. So and also just the world of TikTok has the world of how we consume media is so interesting too. So it's encouraging to see how so many new creators can gain an audience quickly of either like building their brand in public and showing the challenges and adversity that they run into and sharing that with their customer base. So there's a lot of cool opportunities and then unique new challenges that come with actually having success and being sustainable and sticking around for maybe 5, 10, 15 years. On all socials, it's freshsends.com. So it's like you're sending something fresh. And then it's or fresh sends at fresh sends. And then our website is freshsends.com. And yeah, we try to make it where you can send flowers in 5 clicks or less, we always say. And yeah, we hope to create some really good content that's interesting or encouraging and uplifting if you follow along our journey.
I mean, this maybe goes back a few years because I feel like just now we've kind of got it more dialed in, partly in part to Finaloop and the CFO. But really, when you're starting a company and you want to get off on the right foot, legal and accounting slash finance should be your two biggest um, T's to cross and I's to dot to make sure they're good to go, whether it be
Mm-hmm.
raising money or exiting. I think those are the things that people look at. And so just getting a good baseline of, hey, what does that entail? What do I need to make sure I set up and structure correctly from the get-go?
Mm,
Whether it's how the books are set up, accrual versus cash, those little things where I think a lot of founders are so focused on keeping their head above water, trying to just operate, design, product, customer service.
yeah.
I feel like it's easy to let finance kind of slip to the back, and then you find yourself a year or two later, like
Oh, we
trying to
really
figure out,
do.
like, wait, what was that? We should have focused on this more. And so I guess maybe just like an intro class to be like, hey, founders, that like when you're starting a company, these are kind of the things you should definitely make sure you have laid out, whether it be from an investor perspective, an exiting perspective. These are going to be what really help you down the road with clarity and ease from the start. So
Mm.
I would say that would be my biggest thing. That, and I even still now, I'm sometimes what do investors really want to see? And then I know some of that's probably just due to being a first time founder. So maybe that's not beneficial for everyone, but I would say that's a big thing. It's just legal and finance, making sure those are tip top shape from the get go will do wonders for your business. Thank you, Jacob.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks so much. Hope you have a great evening. Thanks for keeping the workday long to chat with us. We appreciate it.